A very, very pleasant good evening to everybody. This is a special request to professionals all over the world that would like to take advantage of the great new policies by President Donald Trump, the number one, I would say, business president in the world today. If you want your business to grow, now is the time. Of course, there are certain aberrations going on around here, but the fact remains that every single businessman in the world that has a lot of capital is awaiting what are the effects of these tariffs, new economic policies, new regulations, and above all, peace and order to stabilize everything in America. I repeat, this is the best time to make that move before it's too late. As we say in business, it's all about timing. So let me get down to the nuts and bolts. For people who want high-paying jobs, especially for Asian Americans, Asians out there, you are very much welcome here in the United States. All you have to do is give me a big shout at my Viber number 405-503-8511. And my email is still superdeals1494@gmail.com. And I have another email because of the overflow of emails at midwestern91@gmail.com. So now let me get to the bottom line. A lot of people are really saying you are only focused on one segment of the market. Precisely wrong. Precisely wrong. We consider big-time professionals in the black community who are very, very happy with what I have provided. We are very strong in the Hispanic professional community, again, which we made very wealthy. And of course, I am Asian American, so we are also very strong in that particular segment. The mainstream market, which is the white market still here in the Midwest, we are also there as well. But what am I trying to drive at? The bottom line is talent and the ability. This is the key term. And you must remember this very clearly. The key term is the ability to translate your given talents, character, and what have you into big-time net profit margins. If you can do that, or if you are doing that right now in your given area of expertise, then you've got to give me a call right now before you rot in that job. As we say in the high-paying jobs business, time is so valuable. Every second counts. The catchphrase is every second counts. If you have a pen right now there and you're doing something that is a low-paying job, this is what you're going to do. Drop it, okay? And focus on this video. So, if you have already defined that in your resume, it is so easy to sell it in the United States of America. I'm talking about the 50 states and its trust territories. And many fail, don't get me wrong, because they do not understand what it takes to be a huge success in America. For example, in the Philippines, I have a client right now. We simply compared how much he is earning. It will take him 37 months, ladies and gentlemen. We calculated it. 37 months and counting. to do it 1 month in the United States. I'd like to repeat, 37 months of working hard, delivering the big numbers, making investors happy, but in America, all he has to do is do it in 1 month, he will get that salary. He is getting 37 months back there. Very sad, but those are the facts. As one professional would say, you simply have to live with it. Now is your time to make that decision. Again, my email address, send your resume, and we will appraise everything. And my fees are very standard, very reasonable. And as I said, we deliver what we say. We cannot legally speak that it is a guarantee, but we have a method that will more or less tell you that we will deliver what we say. But it is illegal in America, as you very well know, to say that word guarantee, not unless you are buying certain consumer products. This is a professional service. Okay? So the key is to make that decision. If you have that ability to translate all your talents, experiences, and more importantly, track record. What is a track record? Your history of success, where you're given for your given expertise. Then you have a shot. Now, things are becoming complicated in the business of my company right now because so many are applying, including outside what we have discussed earlier in our past video, which is banking, finance, and computer engineering and other computer expertise. Because there are certain requests right now from big companies to focus on blue-collar jobs, would you believe? So I am trying to kind of focus on these big segments first before we go into that. But hang tight, we will get into that. So if you have that track record in achieving something, both direct and indirect for a given bank or computer company in that part of the world, and you were the key factor or one of the key players that was able to achieve all-time high net profits, send it over immediately at superdeals1494@gmail.com, or my other email, because I get thousands of email, and you cannot imagine how many computers I already lost because so many people hack me here in the Midwest. They rob me with my computer. I am like a walking encyclopedia wherever I go here, and they even tape my voice in restaurants. But going back to the bottom line, send it right now at superdeals1494@gmail.com, or you can hit me with an email at midwestern91@gmail.com. And if you want something real fast, okay, and we are open 24/7 literally, because after this tape, would you believe I have another taping to be done in Asia? All you have to do is give me a shout at my cell phone and Viber number at 405-503-8511. One more time, that's 405-503-8511. For companies that want to be assured of the growing U.S. economy, now is the best time to make an investment here, to put up a manufacturing plant, to put up your business, to expand it overnight in 50 states. I repeat, if you have a business venture out there and you are unsure of what's happening in your current country, whether it be Europe or Asia, this is the best time to make that move. Why? Because we already projected by 2027, 2028, 2029, America's gross national product will hit an all-time high. In other words, the goods and services and the most important economic measure, money velocity, will be so fast that America is back in business. And you will be shocked as to the numerous proposals day by day I will be submitting to no less than President Donald Trump about being an export economy, being the most business-friendly country in the 189 civilized nations of this earth. And you will be shocked how many people have already lined up because they want to invest in the 50 states of the United States of America. So do not let the news bother you. Why? Because these news are basically, you're hearing a lot of exaggeration, like the trade war with Canada and Mexico. This is not really a trade war. It is more of an adjustment, an alignment of what is fair for the United States and Mexico, what is fair for the United States and Canada. And when the Canadians increase their tariff on American products, basically consumables, it's not that bad. And again, that is all a first stage talk. In other words, as we go along with this booming economy, everything will adjust on what is fair for both parties. Again, remember the dates: 2027, 2028, 2029, America's economy will boom, will surge. Okay? This is what we call in economic parlance as the setting of the rocket ship. Okay? This is the stage where everybody is figuring out where are they going to put their big investments. And we saw that already with SoftBank. We already saw that with so many other companies already that want to say, I'm betting 500 billion right now. But it's not yet too late, as I told you, because the big bucks will come on those 3 remaining years of the presidency of President Donald Trump. Because if I were to share with you these economic realities, it's not a prediction, it's a reality that's going to happen based on past realities. Okay? All you have to do is give me a call. Viber me at 405-503-8511, and we have already set up a directional setting planning system, which, by the way, is the buzz all over the world, because every industry there is already analyzed and what output is expected. In other words, all the financial parameters will be there. And there was a guy who said a while ago, Gavin, I thought your numbers were very inaccurate. So I'm flying to his mother country anytime soon to explain to him what's really happening in America. Because if you're going to read the newspapers, believe me, it's a big joke. I'm telling you right now, the only newspaper I trust there, especially with numbers, is what? I told you this a long time ago. It's the Wall Street Journal. Okay? It's the Wall Street Journal. Why? Because of the editors. You look at the other editors, I will not name you the newspapers because they might change the editor tomorrow morning. Is that the numbers are so inaccurate and the analysis is so inaccurate. It's very generic. And as one black guy said to me a while ago, Gavin, I'm in. The problem is, I might be telling you, man, it's too late. I don't want to subscribe my shares as well, you know. There is such a thing as a maximum to a certain investment to a given business entity. And it becomes very confusing because he might say, no, I also want that shot because it's going to be a pre-IPO business proposal. And if you will ask anybody out there what I did for their companies, they will say, when I dealt with Gavin Bautista, it was the best deal of my life. It was the best deal of my life. And we're not just talking about Asia. Some are Western Europe. Some are in other parts of the world. Because one thing is sure here, it's going to happen. It's already happening. Okay? The stock market is down. Why? Because of price corrections and gross mismanagement. If you look at the stock market, the guys are going down is because of two things. It's a price correction, and the CEO or the middle management is all baloney. It's all baloney. It's, in my opinion, the management really stinks. Because when you go to their company, you already know what the heck is this. And the numbers are so clear. So why even invest? Because you got fooled by either your stockbroker or the given nose. And that's why all the people will invest on me, because we've been living here since 1989. We went back to other parts of the world because of, I would say, certain groups that do not want us here in America. And one of them, as I told you, is the group of Ben De Rosario. So, you know, there's a lot of mudslinging here. Don't get me wrong, you know. This is America. This is fair game, you know. What I mean to say is that if you get hit by an issue that is all false, it's because they want your business. And that's why the legal business in America is always thriving. And that's why the only way they can beat right now Donald Trump is to malign him, right? And all Americans know that right now. And that is the beauty of America. Because at the end of the day, they will judge you by the numbers. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's why my customers are growing leaps and bounds. Because I do not believe in the saying, well, I did my best. I put in the effort. I put in the time. Oh, really? No. What we expect you to do, because we put in all the money, is to deliver what you said in terms of returns. You gave me that number, Mr. CEO. I thought I was going to get that particular return in terms of stock value, dividends, and other forms of compensation. And sad to say, some Americans would simply say, I'm sorry. What? You say that like what's happening to Elizabeth Holmes and all these nonsense business people? When you don't deliver what you say, it's either you're out or you're going to jail. That's America. That's why we're very, very seasoned. The word is seasoned. As one guy would say, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, because it's nighttime here, there are some. As one guy would say, Gavin, I like your directional setting planning systems because it's very exact. And by the way, we give them a weekly report on the money they're going to get with our direct deposit. Unlike the others, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say this, but they really fool you. They say one thing, but at the end of the day, where's the money? Nah. But they say, no, it's coming, don't worry. Don't worry, Mr. Investor, Dr. Investor, Engineer Investor. It's coming, don't worry. After year, after year, after year. But don't get me wrong, there are some companies who did that, like Amazon. There is always, as we say in business, an exception to the rule. Okay, we are the standard. Yeah, because somebody just photographed me a while ago. But anyway, we are the standard in America. I don't want to say the word standard because it's too general. The bottom line is we lead companies to profits. That's the bottom line. If there are certain aberrations, we tell them up front, hey, there's going to be a big storm. Why? Because I think a certain problem will occur. Why? Because there's going to be a hurricane. It will destroy all manufacturing plants in this part of America. We will already tell you where the big risks are. And therefore, to avoid that, you use our directional setting planning systems. We are very, very planning oriented. Plans reduce risk of failure. Plans reduce risk of you losing your money. Your investment is our investment. Our reputation is beyond reproach. Our reputation is considered the top 10 in the world today. Okay? And I would love to share with you, depending upon your industry, what we did for that given industry. There was one big player who wanted to invest with us a while ago. And it's very clear that I told him that if you do that, you will be able to use that plan for your other businesses. That is a big statement. Because if you were to invest $5 million on the spot, that will be about $250 million for his other businesses in terms of profits and reduction of costs and long-term growth. Because what planning systems are you using right now is simply stupid. A guy just approached me last month about the SWOT analysis. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Those days are gone, baby. Forget it. Because they always think, especially, the wars here in the consumer world, I will be attacked by that guy. I've got to use a battle plan to practically kill him, And it's true, it's happening right now in the world of business, where people practically use violent means. And that's, I hate to say this, but that's the truth. That's very common in America. But if you use the directional planning systems, okay, the push and pull technique, it will say, why even think about that? It's a waste of time. In fact, it will backfire and destroy the good reputation of your company. Once you use violence, like what happened with Colgate-Palmolive, what happened? They used violence. Look at them now. They are stuck at 20 billion. Stuck. S-T-U-C-K. They're done. Because the image right now is, hey, they might hit me. They might, do a Ken Norton or smash my car or do something. It's stuck with investors. They feared Colgate-Palmolive. And that happened in the 1980s. Up to now, they're afraid, because they might grow violent. Unlike the other companies that focused on ethics, okay, real integrity. I find that word was so elementary, but we have to say it in America that, do you have integrity? Oh my God, I said, not that word again. Because there was a lady that said that she has integrity. It's a lie. She robbed a person, an investor, more than $7 million US. But she was there, very, very vocal. I have integrity. I have honesty. I have integrity. I have this, I have that. But at the end of the day, where is the money? That's why in our directional planning systems, you can already know if you are going to be screwed, if the money will be gone. Because in America, sad to say, what's happening here for certain people is they rob you, they go to jail, okay, and then they split the loot among family members, relatives, friends, and what have you. How sad, but that's the fact. And I can prove it in any court of law. They get the money, they spread the loot among friends, relatives, they go to jail. They said, oh, it's okay, I have the money. And then they get out after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. How sad. How sad. But at least I'm being upfront with you, dearest investor, because we know already the bad apples here. And we know how to counter these bad elements of the great civilized nation we call the United States of America. And by the way, I've been here since 1989, but there were times I had to go back to other countries because of my ambition to really export big time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have to cut this short because we have another video back in Australia, New Zealand. Taiwan just approached me lately, okay? They want to do business. And the rest of the Asian nations. Because, before I go, this is what I'm going to tell you right now. Asia is the #1 market of American products. I repeat, Asia, not only China. China, no. Southeast Asia is already the new China. People fear China. Because why? If you go there, something might happen to you. And then you tell me, you should have told me that. I lost money there. And then what is that? They might jail you. They might kill you. I'm being upfront. That's the China way. But in America, we will follow to the fullest extent of the law. There might be changes in the U.S. Constitution, but in America, the legal system is still number one in the world. The law will protect the investor. And there are certain states that are really pro-investors, pro-landlords, pro-business. The people who put up the capital wins. And we know the bad states, okay? I'll be honest again with you. There are certain states that it's very difficult to do business there. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, before I get more photographs here, because there's a guy photographing me there all over the place. This is, by the way, an exclusive public institution we have here in central Oklahoma City, northern Oklahoma City. And I just wanted to get out of my private home studio because of the confidentiality of this particular video. Thank you. Good night. And again, all you have to do is to give me a call for your high-paying job for your investment in America at my cell and Viber 405-503-8511. And my two email addresses would be superdeals1494@gmail.com. Before the De Rosario Group will again destroy it, you know. And the other one is Midwestern. That's MIDWESTERN 91@gmail.com. Good night.